Hello, Sat Sri Akal, and Assalamu Alaikum. This video is how, with the help of a young Punjab police officer in Pakistan, a Malik Saqlain, I was able to resurrect or reinstall rightfully the gravestone of Boota Singh, who in 1957 committed suicide by coming underneath a train in Pakistan because his wife, Zanib, a Muslim, could not join him. You would understand a little better about the video and my passion for reinstalling, re-resurrecting Boota Singh's gravestone. It's best if you should know about my background. I'm Harry Gill, or they say Professor Gill, and I was born in Kenya. At the age of 16, I was sent by my parents to England for my education, and there I went to a college, Y College, W-Y-E, a small college in Kent, which was founded in 1447, probably the third oldest college in Great Britain. And there I majored in development economics. After my 12 years there, I worked as a British volunteer in South and Central America and the Caribbean, writing loan proposals to the World Bank and the Inter-American Development Bank on behalf of the poorest of the farmers in those countries. And then I lucked out, and thanks to Dr. Richard Moore, who offered me a job as an econ professor in Santa Monica College. When I was working in Guatemala in 1975, a friend of mine from America sent me a book called Freedom at Midnight. It's about the independence of India, terribly tragic, millions lost their lives, and 10 million people got displaced. But the part of the tragedy that always remained in my mind was about a Sikh soldier, Boota Singh, who saved this Muslim girl who was left behind in 1947 during the partition in Punjab, and there were gangsters or gundas chasing that girl, and this Boota Singh had saved 1,800 rupees to buy a wife from Bihar, the state of Bihar, as was the custom then. He gave that money to those guys. He saved this young lady, Zanib, and he married her according to the Sikh tradition. We'll come to it in greater detail later. She was taken to Pakistan because the law required, and then Boota Singh went back to Pakistan illegally to claim his wife. As she could not join him back to India, he committed suicide with his daughter. The daughter survived, who is probably a grandma now in Libya. And he made a special request to his wife that his graves should be in her village, where she could come and pay him respects when she was free. And it so happened that the family of Zanib, his wife, would desecrate the grave. So the young Muslims in Pakistan said he was a true lover. So they built his grave in some spot in Lahore, and even there, Zanib's family would go and desecrate it. And then the young people gave him the title of Shaheed-e-Mohabbat, or Mohabbat Shaheed, meaning the martyr of love. So they decided to rebuild the grave and made volunteers stand there day and night so no one could desecrate his village. In 1975, when I read this story. So when the chance came for me to visit Pakistan in 2025, my daughter was very eager that I should go because she knew I had a tremendous passion to see the Kartarpur Gurdwara, which thanks to President Imran Khan. By the way, Mr. President Imran, as long as you live in any part of the world, and all the Sikhs, and no matter where they are, they'll always be grateful to you. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the founder of the Sikh faith, spent the last 18 years of his life farming and preaching.
Welcome to world's largest Gurdwara. अब आपके लिए अपने ख्यालात का इजहार करेंगे प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ पाकिस्तान इमरान खान. बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम. इय्याका नअबुदु व इय्याका नस्तईन. मैं सबसे पहले सिख बरादरी को गुरु नानक देव जी का 550 साल की सालगिरह की आप सबको मुबारक देता हूं. आपको खुशामदीद कहता हूं. आज मैं खास तौर पे आपको मुबारक देने के बाद जो हमारी हुकूमत जिसमें FWO सबसे आगे थी, बाकी सारी मिनिस्ट्रीज जिन्होंने 10 महीने के अंदर ये सारा कॉम्प्लेक्स बनाया, सड़क बनाई, पुल बनाया, मैं आज आपको खराज तहसीन पेश करता हूं. मुझे तो अंदाजा ही नहीं था कि मेरी हुकूमत इतनी एफिशिएंट है. इसका मतलब हम और काम भी कर सकते हैं कि अगर 10 महीने में इतना ज्यादा. तो मैं फिर से जिस तरह की आपने मेहनत की, दिन रात आपने लगाया, और ये कॉम्प्लेक्स, इतना खूबसूरत कॉम्प्लेक्स जो आपने तैयार किया, सिर्फ मुबारक ही नहीं, खराज तहसीन नहीं, दिल से आपके लिए दुआएं हैं कि आपने इतने लोगों को इतनी खुशियां दी. मुझे खुशी होती है देख के जिस तरह सिख कम्युनिटी, जो उनके दिलों में खुशी होती है जब ये यहां आते.
For 18 years, Guru Nanak Dev Ji preached his philosophy of universal love and service. By the way, gratitude also goes to Sardar Virdi from England, who donated 500 million pounds of his money so the Kartarpur Gurdwara could be built in a year. Virdi Sahib, as long as the Sikhs, are anywhere in the world, they will always be grateful to you for what a wonderful work you have done with President Imran Khan. Well, now you would see that I have a little photograph there for my daughter, that I'm standing in Los Angeles airport and I'm on the right hub, so she knows I'm taking the right flight to Doha. And yes, having arrived in Doha, have another photograph for her to assure her that I'm in the right country and the right airport. Here I am in Continental Hotel. And now it'll interest you that the Indian cricket team is also in the same hotel, sir. Tight security. And as you can see that I have a little photograph of myself with the staff members from Continental so she would know that I was in a right place and nice and safely. It so happened that at that time when I was there in mid-February 2025, there was an international cricket team tournament there. So we had the teams from Australia, England, and other parts of the country staying in Continental Hotel. And the security was very tight. And I was there from the second day. There was a young man, a handsome young man, sitting there at a desk with a jacket and a tie. And he looked at me and he smiled, and I responded back. And then, of course, in no time, he offended me. That's a joke. He offended me by saying, "Babaji, come and sit in my chair." Well, Babaji means grandpa. Well, I did take the seat, and then I told this young man, young officer, Malik Saklain, I said, "What are you doing here? You're so handsome, you should be in the movies or be a model." And then he had a smile on his face. He said, "Babaji," Babaji again, "Babaji, in fact, there's a talent agency that had just asked me if I could put a little more muscle on the six packs, they would have a modeling job for him." Then he asked me, he said, "Babaji, if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know, I'll do it." And now was the moment I had been waiting for 50 years. I said, "Young man, there's a gentleman by the name of Boota Singh, a Sikh, who married a Muslim girl, Zanib. She could not go back with him to India, so he committed suicide, and I understand there's a grave here. And I'd like to pay my respects." Well, he had never heard of Boota Singh and or the suicide. He Googled it, and he was astonished to read about him. Well, he said he'll find what he can about the grave, and then we both would go there so I could pay my respects to Boota Singh's grave. And it so happened, the next day he turned up, and I thought he had found the grave, which he did, but with a long face. He said, "Babaji, I am so sorry. Here is the video of what is left of his grave." He went to the largest graveyard in Lahore, where they have more than 300,000 graves. The poor officer spotted that grave, and he showed me that only thing was left was the rubble, and which we have now.
ਇਹ ਹੈਗੀ ਜੀ ਮਿਆਨੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਬਰਸਤਾਨ ਹੈ ਲਾਹੌਰ ਦਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਾ। ਉੱਥੇ ਇਹਦੀ ਇਹ ਕਬਰ ਹੈਗੀ। ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੱਧਰ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪੁਰਾਣਾ ਗੋਰਖਾ ਨੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਕੋਲ ਆਈ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹਦੀ ਕਬਰ ਹੈਗੀ ਬੂਟੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ। ਹਾਂਜੀ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ, ਇਹ ਜੇ ਬੂਟਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਢੇਰੀ, ਉਹਦੀ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀ ਜੇ ਇਹ ਬੁਰਜੀ ਲੱਗੀ ਹੋਈ। ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੁਰਜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਬੂਟਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀ ਹੈ। ਇੱਥੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਪਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਨਾਮ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਪਿਆ ਸੀ ਇਹਦਾ, ਉਹ ਹੁਣ ਮਿਟ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਸਿਰਫ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀ ਰੱਖੀ ਪਈ ਹੈ। ਛੋਟੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਢੇਰੀ ਇਹਦੀ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ, ਇਹ ਜੇ ਬੂਟਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਤੇ ਬੂਟੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਸਿਰਫ ਇਹ ਇੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨ ਰਹਿ ਗਿਆ, ਬਾਕੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਆਹ ਬੁਰਜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਇਹਦੀ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ।
Well, now we can go in detail about Boota Singh's story. In 1947, as I've said before, there was a Muslim girl who was left behind in India, and there were 6-7 gundas who were chasing after her, and Boota Singh, a soldier and a very tough man, he saved her from those gundas by giving them 1800 rupees that he had saved to buy a wife from Bihar. Well, he married her according to the Sikh tradition, and 11 months later, they had a daughter. Well, when Boota Singh had his daughter and he wanted to give her a name, he followed the typical Sikh tradition, and that is going to the Gurdwara, the Sikh temple, and there opening the Sri Guru Granth Sahib, our holy scriptures, at a random page, and then see the first word that turns up. And in this case, the word that first came up was T, and hence he named his daughter Tanveer, meaning the miracle of the skies. They lived very happily for a while, but in 1957, his cousins decided that as now he has a daughter, he would not inherit their land, and so they went and informed the Pakistani government that this Muslim girl has been left behind, so according to the rules, she had to be sent back to Pakistan. By the way, you probably have seen quite a few movies, Veer, Zara, and others, who are based on this true story. Well, she was taken to the camp where he went every single year, every single day, to be with her, crying, and she promised him that she will be with him one day again. Well, the Pakistani authorities had located Zanib's family in Pakistan, and so they shipped her out to the village where they had resettled after the partition. Sardar Boota Singh now naturally wanted to join his wife, so he went to the Pakistani embassy and requested a visa so he could be with his wife. Remember, this was in 1957. Then there was still a lot of tension between the communities. So he went to the embassy and the staff said, no, we do not give visas to the Sikhs. Well, when Boota Singh was denied visa to go to Pakistan because he was a Sikh, then he did the next thing, and that was to become a Muslim. One of the most difficult things for a Sikh to do. He cut his hair, and then he went to one of the oldest mosques in India, and in fact the largest one for a long time, and it is located in Old Delhi. The name of the mosque is Jama Masjid. It was built by Shah Jahan, and it was finished in 1656. There, Boota changed his name to Jamal Ahmed and converted the name of his daughter to Sultana, hoping that now that he was a Muslim, his luck would be better in getting the visa to Pakistan. And we shall see. Now he was a Muslim, he went again to the Pakistani embassy and asked for a visa. Well, in long and short, they said, you're a fake, we are not going to give you the visa. And then what happened? He was heartbroken and he entered Pakistan illegally. Well, Boota Singh, having given up all hopes of entering Pakistan legally to bring his wife back, Zanib, back to India. So he did the only thing that was left to him. he entered Pakistan illegally. And he did that from the village Padana, that is in Pakistan, and he went from home to home, village to village, asking people if they knew about a lady, Zanib, who has been brought back to Pakistan from India. He was not too lucky. However, he did luck out. Eventually, he went to a village called Burki, which is only about 5 kilometers from the Indian border, and where Zanib's parents had resettled after the partition. He found the home, and there he introduced himself as Zanib's husband and their daughter. But the sad part was the father had already remarried Zanib to her cousin. He pleaded his case. He asked, pretty much demanded, that his wife be returned to him, and so he could take her back to India. But it was not so. To the extent Zanib's family, father, her new husband, and the cousins all physically abused him and reported him to the authorities for having entered the country illegally. And finally, he was arrested and let go. Well, Zanib's family told Boota Singh that he's not welcomed here, and what they did was they informed the authorities in Pakistan that Boota Singh had entered the country illegally. Well, he tried all he could to convince the people that Zanib was his wife and I'd like to take her back to India. Nothing was successful. Eventually, he found a judge. Judge was very sympathetic to his case, and he said, look, if your wife says that you are the legitimate husband, I will make sure that she'll send back to you, with you to India. But it so happened, Zanib's parents and relatives had threatened her that if you say yes, the father had threatened to kill all the family. Well, the court hearing took place. There were a lot of angry people there. And when the judge asked Zanib if Boota Singh was her husband, she tearfully said no. And when he asked her, would you like to join him back to India? She said no. Boota Singh was heartbroken. But he collapsed in the court. Eventually, when he regained his posture, he walked up to her. He said, this is the money I have saved. I can't deny you the companionship of your daughter. And here's the daughter and the money. But people were very angry. In those days, the communal dislike was enormous. Again, from the threat of the crowd, she whispered no. Well, Boota Singh walked out. And then what he did, that night with his daughter, he spent the whole night at a mausoleum of Data Ganga Baksh, a Sufi who had written the first testaments of the Sufi faith in Persian language.